Hello, beloved. That's the eraser move. You just hang your tongue out, cross your eyes, and shake it out with a weird sound. So I just moved into a cottage I was envisioning for a while in the jungle. I don't know if you can hear the crickets. And today was a day of very strong clarity for this being. I don't really have Wi-Fi where I am, and I'm very far from getting distracted from anybody, and it's been my first day alone in a long while. I've been feeling at home wherever I went, and now I'm in this space with a lot of space, and very strong messages came through that are like very, very, very clear. And I'm gonna say the thing that it's from a star system called Sirius that I've been communicating with since I was a child. Every time I'm like waiting to meet aliens, I'm like, oh, I want to meet the aliens. I end up meeting myself. And I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with that. So Sirius is actually a star system that's internal. It's not, there's no need to go anywhere. You can like see it in physical reality within up above in the physical external realm, but it's actually all internal technology. And this star system is part of my DNA structure. Like I have very clear remembrances from being in the star system for, there's no time there, but I feel an aspect of me there, like all the time. And anything creative that I've ever shared was from the system. It was from a collective soul group. And it filtered through the character that I was and the personality that I am all as well. So Sirius, this system, really wants to come through me. And it feels really good to me. So I'm not really thinking about, oh, is this a channeling? Is it a they? Am I they? Because it just feels really good and really, really clear. And that's what I'm following. And so this system really, really wants to come through me, this character. At this time, there are not a lot of videos and footage out there of channeling specifically from Sirius. And I do feel like this consciousness has been hanging out there a lot in dream time, in wake time. So this is just a little information today, messages that are coming through that, first of all, the way this system from my experience, the way it works, because we each have our own unique access to different systems and we each have our own unique expression within those star systems. So this is my personal relationship with the soul group Star System Sirius. And from what I remember again and again is most of it has to do with the pineal gland, crown, heart, like this whole area. And so in dream time and when the soul group meets beyond time-space, we're basically playing with perspective and thought and like the internal perceptions in order to assist human evolution, which is also us. It's our human bodies that we're assisting to continue life in these bodies on this planet, assisting humans to reach a 0-point field. Some call it the field of the nine, where there's pure possibility, freedom, and so it's pretty cool stuff. Some say that it's like also connected to Egypt and, more ancient teachings, which it is. It's all about going within the internal technologies that every human is born with. Different dosages, but we all have access to it. Think of this star system as a portal, playground that every human can walk through. So you cannot explore it, but it is a possibility, because if you do explore it, then it means it resonates with you, and that means you have access to that system, to that experience, to that playground, to that candy land. So it's not like the ultimate way, and it's not like, oh, you're from there. This is more of like, hey, let's play with these tools while we're awake in the dream, while we're dreaming awake. So the clear message, which is super nonlinear, this video is very nonlinear, my whole virtual whatever is very nonlinear, and that's the way it feels most authentic. So messages is that there kind of is like a split in consciousness right now. No, it's not like a bad thing or a good thing. There is no good or bad. There is no right or wrong. That's like rule number 1 in this field of consciousness. No good or bad, no right or wrong. Everything is totally cool. And so there is a split of energy in the human collective field now because there's been a massive like evolution with some of the humans that out of their free will chose and opted into new ways of being, of higher frequency timelines while they're in their body without needing to die. They died awake, they had ego deaths, and opted in again and again and again to being rebirthed while keeping a physical body. So that's really amped up, and those beings are literally pretty much living on a different planet that seems to be just a flight away or a drive away or a neighborhood nearby. It doesn't matter. There is no space time when interdimensionally traveling. We go beyond those things. And but there is a field that is New Earth that's already here. Now, this is non-linear. The New Earth has always been there. It's always accessible. And in this human experience right now, I'm experiencing, and if you're watching this, that means that you're in synchronistic vibration with what I'm experiencing. That's why we're meeting here in this video. The other energy, there's like very, they say dark forces, but it's actually just the polar opposite of being a full-on creator being awake in your dream. So if you're not willing to accept, if a human isn't willing to accept that they're a full-on creator being in human form and navigate that game, then it's going to be the polar opposite of that, which is like enslavement, victimhood, shots, being taken over, be controlled. And it has nothing to do with where you are. It has nothing to do with what country you're in. You may find that when you're freeing yourself, you'll find yourself in a different space. But this has nothing to do with where you live or what your circumstances. And I've explored my whole life being in the same space and experiencing multiple perspectives of it, multiple realities. Yesterday, I was like, oh, this is either real hell or this is heaven. Like every moment when I moved into my house today, oh, this is either the worst mistake I ever made or the best. And they came together. They start merging together. So basically, there is that dense field where it's not good or bad, but if you're not accepting, if a human isn't accepting that they're a full-on creator being in form and ready to wake up in the dream and that everything's a game and that there is no right or wrong, then they're going to be sucked into this kind of magnetic field, which is a totally different planet. It's a totally different option. It's more dense, it's more linear, it's like more like what a lot of us used to know. And again, there's no right or wrong. A lot of people are experiencing grief for family members and friends just by the small choices they're making. Because you can already tell when a person is opting into the other planet with basically their what words they use, what they choose to talk about, whether why they wear a mask. The question is really why, like when they talk about it, or like what. It's very clear to see who's going to which planet now. And again, there's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong, there's not one that's more real or less real, they're just two totally different experiences. So this video is for those of you who are bridgers. And you can say bridgers or starseeds, where you have like in your DNA already really extreme remembrance abilities of this star system that you already experienced, where you have the freedom to create and play with your thought and manifest and like play with your energy and perception and using your inner child to interdimensionally travel. So if you're waddling in between, in the middle, I know I was, and parts of me still am, wobbling in between worlds, like, oh, am I crazy? Am I this? Am I really this free? And oh wait, am I bypassing? So if you're in the middle, this video is for you. Because we all, when we're in that middle space of hopping on board, we just need another confirmation from another being and hearing the same thing many times from different voices. So this video is to yes, and that you're not crazy, and that there is a whole nother planet that can be discovered easily and gracefully, where there's a different value system, where you have more support than you can possibly imagine, when you're freer than you've ever been, healthier than you've ever been, feeling more abundant than you ever have, where there is no living out of fear anymore. You just see the big patterns of evolution. Like, you've been through all the karmic opposites and you're just like, oh, okay, they all cancel each other out, and it's gonna be fine. And basically there's a kind of death that happens, a death of the story, a death of more and more death of the character, more and more death of, you know, needing to live a certain way. So a lot of grief comes up, but then you also feel very clear and clean and connected to all things. Like, literally, like today in my house alone, I felt my family. I felt like I have no way to call anybody, and I have no way to chat with anybody, and I felt so connected to anybody. I was having telepathic conversations with certain beings that were very clear while I was meditating. It was scary at the beginning. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't like been in a 0 point field of energy in so long. I don't know if I know how to navigate this like clear energy, but it's really nice. So you come back to the basics. You come back to caring for yourself, for doing yoga, for breathing, for just staring at a candle, for playing ball with your dog. And that's what life's about. And that's where the depth and riches come in, and magic comes in from simplicity. So if you're waddling, the dark is gonna seem darker because it's the shadow of this. What the message was. The shadow is going to get darker as the light expands. So it's like almost like one body. This is the dark, this is the light, and they're both growing because we're tapping into our larger bodies. The deeper we go, the larger we expand. But your clothes are still going to fit you. And so the larger you expand, the light and the dark expands. And so the shadow is going to, think of it as like a light being, like the shadow grows with that light being's growth. So yeah, just to accept that dark reality as the shadow of the light, as real, honoring it. Yeah, that's real. That's a real reality, and feeling that. And then also knowing that you're not that you don't have to play that game, that you can play a different game, and that you can trust that you're supported and that you're not insane. So there's a little exercise that I felt like I was gifted while I was meditating, a way to kind of like bring back into the light all like karmic patterning, like all patterns of your beliefs, that whatever you did onto others comes back to you, and like, you know, the world reflecting all these patterns that you have inside. So just relax. Just relax. It's super simple. My hair is really interesting. Relax, shoot your tailbone on the seat wherever you are. Imagine you have like an anchor of a boat, like with your tailbone. Imagination is super powerful, so you don't actually really need to do anything but imagine. And that anchor has this like pole of white light beginning to slowly like be pushed like a pressure in a straw up your spine. And just imagine it going really, 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 really slow. It's heavy. It's pulling down your tailbone and going up in the middle of your back. Close your eyes, of course. It's always helpful. And it's crawling up like a big fat ant up your throat. If there's any density anywhere, tension while it's crawling up, just stop. And, you know, I felt in my throat before, and just feel it. Just feel it, be like, oh, what if I can feel this deeper? Because that fluid might be clearing out densities in your chakra system. So just be with it and feel it. Don't fight it, breathe into it. And eventually allow this bright white light, and if it has a color to you, you're welcome to use a color. Bring it up to your pineal gland area, which is in between your brows, right above here. You know where it is. And just feel even that anchor, that weight connected to this ball of light. Feel the heaviness of that light, like it's a thick goo. And just imagine this light washing all your neural pathways. Imagination is so powerful. We create everything off images of the mind. And we actually, Lori Ladd, a favorite teacher of mine, check her out on all the platforms. She says that imagination is what unlocks the pineal gland, which is our crystal inner computer that can do insane things. So just imagine that this white light is encompassing your whole skull, washing all your neural pathways, bringing it back to 0 point. And now just welcome into the light, into that light in your pineal gland, any being that comes to mind. All these players that are co-creating all these stories of the dark and the light, just imagine them being sucked into the light like moths. All you need to do is imagine family, close blood family, soul family, the area you live in, all those people, let them flash. There's no need to think of one at a time or anything. Think of any country that pops up, all being sucked into this light, bright light. It's anchored down your spine. It's just absorbing all of it. Any being you've ever seen on TV, all your partners, lovers, almost lovers. Just imagine it being absorbed. Just enjoy this. Another moment, you can take more time and do this on your own. If you want to write down the steps or do it in your own version. We'll just take another minute together. Imagine minute. Doesn't need to be something good or bad you're welcoming into this light. Just anything. Any being, any relationship, any memory. You can see it as a coming home for all aspects of you. Bringing all encounters and relations and co-creative storytellers back to 0 point. Breathe in to your tailbone and exhale with a sigh. Awesome. So what this little gift is for is basically feeling your free, sovereign 0 point field. And because no matter how much technology and support there is, the rule is that beings have to have their free will. Because if you didn't have your free will, you wouldn't be the unique aspect that only you are of pure source energy. So you have to be free. And so, you know, no matter how much beings or systems love you and want to support you, they can't support you unless you're the first one who's willing to step onto the waters and into the unknown. So there's magic that awaits. You're not alone. And reach out if you would like to schedule a session for actually remembering how to use your internal technologies, how to tap into this system, how to use your internal technologies. You don't need anything in order to just awaken what you already know. And have a pal there being like, hey, yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, that's how you can heal. Oh, yeah, that's what you do with your... Oh, yeah. It's very easy. Our inner child is our true guru. So, wahe guru. Neighbor loves, keep in touch. Yeah, and you can actually just call upon the star system Sirius and before bed at night and be like, hey, show me this. I'm open, I'm ready, I'm safe. Show me, dear planet Sirius. And they will, you know, a lot for me has been experiencing the star system through sleep. And while I'm doing very basic things, I'll get very connects to that soul group. But there is nothing to see in that realm. It's all like internal and all about the imagination and the power of imaginative creation. So much love for you, because that's totally cool and totally perfect, no matter what you think. Bye-bye.